Welcome to Gunpowder, Fiction and Plot. That's Nell. I'm Scott, and today we have a haul coming towards you.
I feel like this is a multi-haul. This is... Everyone talks about how they want to get their TBR down to 0, and all I want to do is have a feeling of abundance. When I go to my bookshelf and I pick the next book or I pick my TBR, I want to feel like I'm in the state library and I have all the choice.
You want to have like 2 TBRs. You want to have the TBR on the bookshelf and the TBR beside your bed shelf.
Yeah, and the TBR beside my bed shelf, I don't really want that to be out of control, and it always is. And the TBR on my bookshelf...
It's because you should finish some books you start.
I do read more than one book at once. It's got finds that irritating. But the TBR on my bookshelf, I want that to be crazy. Like, I want it to be exploding.
I want to have one book from each genre on my TBR, but I classify, like, one of the genres I have is Thomas Hardy.
It's not his own genre, but I get what you're saying. I mean, like, I haven't put them in this book haul, and we haven't actually talked about the fact that I bought them all, but I did say that I wanted to read all the Atwoods this year. So I've bought them all. I have all the Atwoods sitting on my shelf so that I can read them when I get to them. I've got all the novels. I'm buying the short story collections as I go. And that makes me feel really good and really excited about reading them. I don't know, it's part of the anticipation, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about these books that we've got here to haul. You can't actually see them.
There's so many.
There's 3 here, and then there is a pile here, and then
there's a small box.
There's a box here.
And this is all being filmed the week before our anniversary, and I do suspect that my darling husband may have purchased me books for my anniversary.
Damn well know that I did.
And my mum said she was going to purchase me some off my wish list too, so I've got more coming. Okay, so right. These 3, I want to talk about these 3.
Put it up.
We're in Australia, in case you can't pick the accent, and everyone does Book of the Month, and I've been looking for something similar, some kind of subscription service. I'm not going to name the subscription service that I tried because it was terrible.
It's horrible.
I'm sorry. I signed up for a subscription service that does secondhand books, which I thought was awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, totally. Excellent thing. They ask you what sort of genres you're into. Awesome. Good sign. And then I got these books.
Well, let's talk about them. This is the first one you've got. This has been advertised everywhere. I've seen this on buses. The Girl on the Train is probably...
The Girl on the Train is...
Didn't mean to do that. It's a thriller, isn't it? It is a thriller. It's a few years old. I haven't actually read it, so I'm down with this. This is the first book I got and the most promising. I haven't read any of these books yet, so maybe I'm being a bit harsh. Maybe they're fabulous. But I do feel a little bit like someone has gone into their books I've read and don't want to keep section of their bookshelf and just posted them to me. I don't feel like these have been curated as such. So what did you pick as the genres you like?
Look, I was quite, I wasn't helpful. I did say I like thrillers and I like everything.
Like thriller, you got a thriller.
Yeah, I did, and that's and a thriller I've heard of that's been turned into a movie. So I feel like that's a quality choice. It's a few years old and a bit risky that I might have read it already, but I haven't.
You've asked for used books. I mean, they have to be a little bit older.
I don't think they necessarily have. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that it's old. I'm just saying it's not a recent release. But it's a kind of recent release?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was quite excited about that. I haven't picked it up yet, but The Girl on the Train I thought this was promising. And then I got the second book, and after receiving the second book, I decided to cancel the subscription. It's called Sleek Bodies. It's about horses.
So you're not down for a book about horses?
It's
about horse racing.
Philip Glaister's idyllic spell of sun, sea, sex, and one-sided games of chess in the south of France is brought to an abrupt halt when he hears that his only brother, Freddie, is in a coma following an apparent asthmatic attack in the family racing stable at Swinsmere. It's not a book or an author I've heard of. It's another thriller about horses. It's a very good condition. I've got to say, all of the books I was sent were in fantastic condition.
I feel like you've been harsh. You said you like thrillers, and you've got 2 thrillers here, and you've not read them.
The third one I've gotten actually looks more promising. The Washerwoman's Dream is a historical fiction, which just looks like, even if it's crap, it's going to be a nice read. It's a beautiful... I like the font and all that sort of stuff. It looks like it's going to be easy to read.
It's a book, isn't it? How many pages is that?
It is thick. 517.
I feel like you're getting a bit of bang for your dollar with that.
Yes. I guess the thing is, it's not really the service's fault, but it's not what I want. What I want is Book of the Month, like they have in the States. And no one here does that.
Book of the Month, where they send you 5 books and you pick your...
Well, they give you the choice of 5 every month.
That one's Book of the Month, is it?
Yeah, and you pick which one of the 5, and if you want more, you just pay a bit extra and you can have more of them. And they're all new releases and they're all a bit exciting. And this is not what I'm going to get with... Like, what I was looking for, Australia doesn't really have. And... what I've compromised for hasn't really made me feel the way Book of the Month was going to make me feel. So I was ultimately disappointed. It wasn't the service I wanted. I think they're really good quality, the good quality editions. I don't quite understand the selection, but maybe if I read them I would understand it a bit better.
Well, I think you said you didn't actually help them. I know you like historical fiction.
I didn't help them in the sense that I checked basically all the boxes that I might possibly be interested in, which is most of the boxes.
Yeah.
I mean,
we both read like all the
quite
genres.
varied, yeah. So I don't feel like I was helpful in the sense of I didn't narrow it down to a special interest. But all they asked was genre, is the other thing. I think in the days of Goodreads, if you're hand curating, which I assume they are. I assume they don't have a box full of this book in second hand.
How could they?
Yeah, exactly. So I think they're missing a trick to not get you Goodreads and make sure that they're at least not giving you something you've already read.
Sure. But it sounds like, is the reason you think this is not good because you signed up for this way back in...
They were also $30.
Well, $30 for a used book is a lot of...
Yeah.
And a lot of money.
Yeah, and it wasn't $30 for the book. It was $30 by the time you paid for postage. But
I mean, I guess you signed up for this in February when our channel was super new.
Yes,
and you were getting excited about books, and you saw people with Book of the Month. But since February, you've watched so many videos on BookTube.
Oh my God, so many.
And so many books that you want to read. Like, you actually want to choose your books now, don't you?
No, I really like this idea of having something show up that I haven't had as much input into. But I do want it to be more tailored than this.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just not the service I was looking for, ultimately. Yeah.
All right. Now, these are books that you've actually bought because you wanted to buy them, and you've bought them online. Oh, except for one of them.
One of them was a gift.
We'll do this one first. So, Nell knows for her anniversary she's getting books. One of the main reasons she knows is that I gave her, as a random gift, The Secret History. She was having a bad day.
I was having a bit of sook.
And I decided to give her a present. I had bought this for her anniversary, and I have bought a different book. I'm not just buying her a book for her birthday, for her anniversary, rather. I
mean, that would be fine, but that's not what we do.
But, yeah. So I just gave her this book just to cheer her up. The Secret History by Donatar's debut novel. It's like the original Dark Academia.
And we both quite like Donatar and spend a bit of time talking about her other book that we've both read, which is...
The Goldfinch. Well, I read The Secret History and then I read The Goldfinch, and you've read The Goldfinch and now you're going back to The Secret History. They're very different, but you can see her style in both of them. They're very different novels.
The rest of these are books that I mainly picked because they were shorter books. But I use Book Depository. I know that they're not the best online retailer in the world, but at least they're not racist like some of them.
Are they racist?
Well, at least they're not as racist as some of them. I don't know if anyone can tell me why they're evil, please.
They are Amazon.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I like that they have a wish list that I just add my books to and then I buy them when I get some money. So I sort of went in there and I spent a bit and I bought with the intention of buying some shorter books.
But it's alright because Australian money is not real money.
So I bought The Empress of Sultan Fortune, which I'll try not to go on about too much. I have actually already read this one. Which is sort of a fable style, but also a little bit magical and a little bit... it's not our world, certainly. And it's about storytelling and history and love and motherhood, and it's really good. I really enjoyed this one. Really, really enjoyed this one. Cried. Before the Coffee Gets Cold is about a coffee shop where you can travel in time. This is a Japanese one. It is very short, 210-ish pages.
That sounds fun.
It does sound fun. I've read this one also. I won't get into it just yet.
Put that on my bedside table.
The Picture of Dorian Gray. I picked this off. Scott went through a big mega list with me. I said I was feeling only interested in modern books, and you got out one of those lists of classics, I think.
You just Google, there's a website, List Ranker or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. It just has all these lists of books, and you can upload your own list, and people are like, 50 classics to read before you die, and 100 classics to read before you die, and then...
So we sort of went through one of those. I didn't even think we got all the way through it.
No.
And I yes, no. And it sort of reminded me of the books that I was out of touch of having wanted to read. And The Picture of Dorian Gray was one of them. Also on a bunch of lists of classics that are under 200 pages. So I picked that up.
Is it under 200 pages?
It's not long.
Not this edition. 243.
Ooh, it might be, inside this place, not of it, is a recommendation from
Feminist Orchestra Book Club.
Feminist Orchestra Book Club, which is Lauren Wade and Jean. Does Jean have a last name? Do we just call her Jean?
Jean's Bookish Thoughts.
I love Jean. This was their early in the year book, which I've missed the book club, but it's an online book club and I can enter into that conversation when I do eventually read this, or just be a bit of a creeper and read it and not contribute. But I was interested in this. It's about it's women's stories from within the industrial prison complex in America. So, I believe it's a bunch of short stories or essays, non-fiction, super interesting.
Yeah. Our camera light is flashing, so we might have to fix that up.
It's just a little bit of a battery problem. It's still good.
It's alright, we have a second one.
This is my first ever graphic novel.
You need to show the camera like that, not like that.
Oh, look, they should have my eyes.
Yeah. It's a comic book written by Margaret Atwood.
So this is part of my All the Atwood challenge. I wanted to read her graphic and short stories. So this is the first 3 on my list. It's the Angel Catbird series, and I bought that so that I could read it.
Also, Johnny Christmas and Tamara Bonvillain.
Yeah, it's a collaboration.
They might be the drawers.
One of them is. The other one, she's had help with the writing of it.
Oh.
Or collaborated with the writing of it.
And Patchett.
The Dutch House.
Why did you buy it?
I don't know, I wanted it. It's not a very long one, 330-ish pages. I wanted it.
I hope to get to an Ann Patchett book this month, actually, but not this one.
This one I bought because Kate's paranoid that she's a psycho. So it's about...
Who's Kate?
Kate is my bestest of all best friends. And she's a bit of a weirdo, and she worries that her weirdo-ness is...
She's very weird.
She's very weird, but she's
our sort of weird.
She is our sort of weird, and that is said with complete and utter love. Anyway, this is the story from the perspective of a girl who was raised in a homeschooling environment that was very extreme, and while my Kate is extreme, she's not this kind of extreme. Anyway, she wanted to read it but didn't want to read it, was scared to look, one of those, so I'm reading it for Kate.
Right. You're looking at the car accident.
I am looking at the car accident for Kate.
Right, I see. All right, now we went to a used bookshop today and we got this box of books.
Woo! This was fun.
We bought so many books. He gave us a free box. It's made in Thailand.
I really enjoyed this experience because we had like 10 minutes. It was so good.
It was. What happened halfway through this shop is my dad called me up and said, "You're not home. We're meant to be walking the dog together." And I'm like, "No, that's at 4." And he said, "Nope." I'm like, "Oh."
But the shop was shutting too, and there was lots of people in it, and it felt really dynamic.
All right. This one is one you picked. I don't even know what it is. It's won a Bancroft Prize, whatever that is. I don't know. Dwelling Place.
It's called A Plantation Epic. So it's an examination of American slavery.
By Erskine Clark.
Yeah. I thought that may or may not be interesting. Or I'm assuming it will have some kind of white bias. But I'm interested.
Is it a white author or a black author?
I actually don't know. It was quite spur of the moment. I picked it up in the bookshelf. Did not Google it.
I'll Google that and let you know in the editing process.
Your turn.
My turn. I picked up Something Happened by I was going to call him Joseph Conrad. Joseph Heller, who is better known for Catch-22. I don't actually know anything about this book other than I fucking love Catch-22. It's brilliant. So let's see what his lesser known novels are like.
You picked up these and thrust them under my nose.
I just wanted to see if you...
Both by Emile Zola, who is a lefty McLefterson.
Emile Zola is George Orwell's favourite ever author.
Nana and the Debacle, and I said yes!
It's a bit of a rude cover, isn't it?
Oh, it's not rude, it's just a lady.
Are we allowed to show Bush on YouTube?
For $4.
It's not Bush YouTube. It's
How can you...
pubic hair.
How can you say no? $4?
Yeah, $4 each.
Done. They're not even real dollars, they're Australian dollars.
Nana's one of his more famous ones too.
This one, speaking of Jean had this in her recent book haul. That's where I'd seen it. So I bought it. The Namesake. Gogol is named after his father's favourite author.
Would it be Nicola Gogol?
Yes. So, interesting.
Alright, what else have we got?
Oh, Pygmy? By the guy who wrote Fight Club.
Yeah, so reviews of this one are not promising.
How can you not want to read that for yourself though?
Well, yes. Yes.
Especially, I want to read this for myself.
Somebody did the worst rated books they could find on Goodreads, and that was one of them, and they read it and they said sorry, it was rubbish.
Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll think it's rubbish.
Evelyn Waugh, Scoop. I read probably 2 years ago now, Brideshead Revisited. Quite enjoyed Brideshead Revisited. Don't really remember a lot about it, to be honest, but at the time I thought, oh, let's give Evelyn Waugh a bit more of a shot, and never did. You know, they have 2 editions of Scope there, so I bought the fancy one with the nice big letters and...
Yeah, it looks beautiful. It's a nice edition. This is the other thing that you pointed out to me.
Yeah, and you got sucked in by this.
I don't think it's suck it in when it's books. It's not suck it in. I just want them. I want them all.
That's 1, 2, 3 Haruki Murakami
This
books.
is what they had. They had all of them.
Oh, they had more there.
Oh, I didn't see more. Lucky.
They had a pile of Murakami in front of the other books because it's a used bookstore. They don't have enough space on the bookshelves. Then in the bookshelf they had other books. So this one is called Sweetheart. What have you got?
Birthday Stories, which is short stories, which is one of the reasons why I wanted it. And it's called Sputnik, Sweetheart.
Oh, I thought that was the Japanese title and the translation.
And Kafka on the Shore, which is not the ones I wanted to start with, but whatever, they were in the bookshop and the opportunity was there.
Don't you have a Murakami?
I've got one on my wish list.
Oh.
The True and Splendid History of the Harristown Sisters, which was in the general fiction section. We bought most of ours from the literature section.
It's actually the classic section.
Oh, but this looks like a historical fiction about 7 sisters in Dublin. Into it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, that is...
Oh, a bunch of books we've got on our shelves now.
A lot.
Woo!
Happy book haul. What have you bought recently?
What is your attitude to the acquisition of books? Is your attitude like mine? Buy them all now? Or do you have a different attitude? Yeah. I'd be interested.
Remember to subscribe to us and like this video regardless of what you thought of it. Bye.
Bye.